Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Keep It Moving podcast. I am your host, Novelty. And joining me today is Mike B.
What's up?
It's weird. I usually say and JT, but JT's not with us today.
Again.
I think he quit.
Possibly.
I think we scared him off.
Maybe. Because you know you have that effect on people. You like to drive men away. I don't know why you do that.
Really? Why did that conversation have to go there?
I'm just saying.
We were talking about JT, not me.
You know I got to stick up for my boy.
Anywho, well, how was your week or weeks?
It was pretty good. You know, went like normal. Nothing extra. No complaints. You know, just regular old Monday through Friday. Regular old dreading tomorrow because tomorrow means Monday comes sooner.
You know, I do that too.
Yeah, I think most
Sunday
people.
is no fun.
Right.
You know, even though it's a day off, it doesn't feel like a day off because you know
You're preparing.
Monday
Your mind is prepared
coming.
for Monday. Yeah.
I thought it was just me. I thought maybe I was all twisted in the head. Shut up.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Anywho.
You have any things to say about the party you went to last night?
No,
with your family?
My aunt turned 50-something. I don't know how old. We got a lot of July birthdays, so we just went to her house and she did a little happy hour. Nothing spectacular, just family
Did you say
and friends.
It started at 4:30?
No, she wanted to do dinner, and dinner started at 4:30 today.
Okay.
Happy hour last night started about 7:30.
Mm.
So we did a little happy hour and just kind of hung out with family, nothing major.
Right on. Did you have a cake?
No, she didn't do cake. She did hoardie-overs.
Are you going to tell the people that your birthday's coming up?
My birthday's Friday. Woo!
Are you excited?
I'm always excited for my birthday.
Right on. Even though you're going to be another year older, getting closer and closer to 50.
Getting older doesn't necessarily bother me. There are times, though, that it crosses my mind that 50 is like right there.
Mm-hmm.
You knocking the door on 50 is right there. I mean,
but you got discounts to look forward to.
Right.
So
I'm so looking for my grandmother, when my uncles and aunts turned 50, the first thing she bought them was an AARP membership.
Right on.
I'm looking forward to that membership because I can get 18% off at Denny's.
But they probably won't even believe that it's you because you still look kind of young.
Thank you. But I just, hey, that's what IDs are for. I get it.
Well, I feel like if I come over your house and you got Werther's Original, that's when you've officially crossed over.
Those. I've never liked those.
That's because you haven't reached that age.
Is that age?
Yeah. That's when it's
keep
like
the hard candies in my purse.
And it's not just hard. It's like hard but buttery, and it's like it's caramel greatness.
That must be what my auntie was asking me about, because she had some kind of caramel shot. Had to have vodka or something, and I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And she said it tastes like them caramel candies, and I'm like, well, she's just trying to figure out what they were called, and I'm like, caramel candies, because that's what I'm used to. And
you talking about like the little soft squares?
So maybe she was talking about the Werthers.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know about a shot. How old was your auntie drinking the shot? Maybe it was a slippery nipple she was drinking.
No, somebody brought her something. It was vodka with caramel in it or something. I think it was vodka. Some kind of tasty vodka. Right. I don't know, but
usually I know drinks, and I don't know that one.
Well, I sure am not taking a shot of candy. That just don't sound right.
Oh, some shots are they're very good, very tempting.
Well, y'all enjoy.
Okay, thank you.
But no, we just hung out and sat out on the porch. My poor mama, she was supposed to join us for dinner, couldn't. She got a hangover. She sat there and drank a whole bottle of wine by herself.
I think that'll be when I know I'm getting older, when wine is like something that I gravitate to. It don't make any sense to me. I don't really like the taste. I've tried it several times. I'm like, I don't see what people get out of this.
Neither do I. But I don't see
you
what
don't
people
drink.
get out of any of it. So
you're special. You're a good girl.
Yes,
you're
I
good.
am.
I'm proud of you.
I'm scared.
This might be
I'm scared.
one of the few times you'll hear that from me.
Okay, I'm a little scared.
I had JT's back earlier. I got your back right now. See,
yeah,
I know how to work the room.
Insulted me at the start. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Get into today's show. A lot has gone on in the world just over the past 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Every single day we have awoken to something tragic.
Right.
And the latest tragedy was in Nice, yesterday. Well, I think it started Thursday night. The truck barreling down the road while they were having their independence celebrations.
Yes, I heard the truck like made it like a mile. I don't know if that's how true that is, but and just running people down like that is the craziest thing I've heard in a long time.
Killed 84 people was the last count I heard, and 2 of them were American citizens. One American was missing last I heard. I'm not sure if they found him yet, but it was really sad. And then as the world is finding out about what happened in Nice yesterday afternoon, Turkey's military decided to have a coup and take over. So the military just went into the streets and started screaming
martial law.
Martial law, yes.
I mean, like
Against
no
their government.
officials was like, "Hey, we need to do this because the citizens are acting
No.
up." They just decided,
The
you know what?
president was in hiding someplace.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. The military took over, and I think the military probably had control of the city for a good 5 or 6 hours.
And who
At least.
who straightened it out?
I don't know. I woke up the next morning and
Things are back
things
under
were
control.
back to normal and back under control. And the president said that they would be dealt with severely. Or
How do you punish your entire military? And then who comes in to help defend you guys at that point?
well, one of the main one of America's main concerns was Turkey is like one of our biggest allies when it comes to fighting ISIS.
Okay.
That's where our military strikes from, is one of their military bases with their military in hand. And so without them, it would have impacted our war on ISIS.
That wouldn't have been good at all.
No. So Nice and Turkey all in less than 24 hours. I mean, and it's been like this every day for the past 2 weeks. We wake up to
Something else.
tragedy of some sort. It's making me my grandmother has said for years, it's the end of days, it's the end of days. She said it when my mom was a kid. My mom finally told her, Mama, if it's the end of days, why ain't it ended yet? I mean, she's been saying that forever. And now I'm just like, but maybe it is.
You have to admit that, a lot of times, especially when you're talking to older people and they try to share their stories with you, when you haven't experienced it, you haven't been around it, you haven't seen it for yourself, it's hard to actually, get it. But I have to admit here lately, with everything that's been going on, all the different, murder situations, all the different, like the corruption, the racism, the blatant disrespect of humanity, it definitely feels different to me. Like this feel like I don't know if I could have imagined 2016, like damn near taking steps backwards instead of progressing.
It's funny. My brother and I were talking about this yesterday, and he brought up something that I didn't even realize. When he was 10 years old, he's 37 now. So when he was 10 years old, the population of the world was 3.1 billion, I believe.
Okay.
The population of the world now is 9.4 billion.
Uh-huh.
So in about 30 years, we have tripled the population of the world. If we keep going at this rate, we are going to run out of resources.
So we need to start killing each other.
No.
Okay.
His thing was, we sitting here arguing and fighting about stupid things when we need to be figuring out how we are going to have enough resources to sustain the population of the world very shortly here. I mean, that's 3 times in 9 years. I mean, in 10 years. Or no, 30 years. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
3 times in 30 years. So it doubles every 10 years. The population is almost doubling every 10 years. What are we doing to rectify that problem, to deal with that problem?
Well, we got global warming to focus on.
And scientists are saying the hole in the ozone layer is starting to decrease. So we are actually tackling that problem. The things that we've been doing to be green are actually starting to tackle that problem. More people need to understand green energies and maybe come on board to green energies. So, but we also have to make decisions and determinations and start to invent things to make sure our resources are taken care of. We've got enough water. We've got enough food on the planet, just to sustain the population, because
It's going to continue to grow.
Right. And you can't, I mean, no matter how many we're killing, we're not killing off enough to stop that.
Don't say it like that, though. You make it seem like, it's a plan. You're not killing enough. We need to add more people to the kill list. No.
No. Enough people are not being killed, put it that way.
No.
Okay.
Don't say no.
Regardless, okay.
Killed is not
Point
a good
is,
word.
We are still multiplying quickly and rapidly.
Yes. I like that. We ain't killing enough.
It was just a conversation we had.
You guys have weird conversations as brother and sister.
We talk about a lot of different things.
Like the population when he was 10. That's
it came out of just a conversation of what's been going on in the last 2 weeks.
I'm not really.
I was shocked he knew the population when he was 10.
That's where I'm going with.
Because I didn't know the population now until he said it. But yeah.
But you have a weird family anyway, so.
Sorry. So anyway, let's talk about the big topic that's been going on in this country for actually many a years, many a centuries, but has really hit home in the last 2 weeks. The violence against black people and cops. We lost 2 black men to police in the last 2 weeks. And actually we lost them one day, one the very next day.
Right.
And the information that has been presented makes it seem like the police are shooting for no reason, which, not saying that's not true. I'm not saying that. I mean, that's neither here or there. That is what has come across. The police shot for no reason. Philando Castile, the man asked for his ID. He reached for his ID and he shot him in front of his 4-year-old child. That bothers me a lot. So I got to thinking, and I sat down and I wanted to pull some statistics before we start to just kind of let everybody know what is true and what is factual. 522 people were killed by the police in 2016, according to the Washington Post. Of those 522 people, 497 of them were males. 129 of them were black. Black males between the ages of 15 and 34 were 9 times more likely to be killed by police officers than any other demographic last year. That worries me. And this is where people like Black Lives Matter and protesters are coming from when they say, you are killing us. You all are setting out to murder us. The government and our judicial system is stacked against us. Whether it's, it is not a whether. It is stacked against us, and it was done on purpose. It has been done on purpose. And it starts from our school systems and how we educate our young people. And it goes all the way up to the top of our government. What are we going to do about it?
That's the question. That's what I've been in my feelings, hearing about the Alton Sterling situation, the Philando Castile situation, and how everybody, for some reason, not really, I won't say everybody because I just don't want to say everybody. There are some people out here who don't really care they're not seeing the situation that's actually happening. What's going on before us. We have clear video of the officers doing something that's wrong. And the officers most times don't even really have to justify it because the people would do it for them. That's when you have the media going and looking at these people's criminal background, trying to find reasons why this person deserved to die. When in the moment, the officer didn't know about the criminal background. The officer didn't have that information, to make a decision. That shouldn't have even been a part of it. But they still, for some reason, they go in with this fear that something is going to happen. And I don't understand why they fear us so much. And I'm saying us, me talking as a black man. Like, I don't understand why we are so feared.
Well, on top of the first 4 things I mentioned, African Americans are 30% more likely than whites to be pulled over. After being pulled over, African Americans and Hispanics are 3 times more likely to be searched. Last year, black people were shot by police at more than twice the rate of white people. African Americans are arrested at twice the rate of white people. African American defendants are 75% more likely to be charged with offenses carrying mandatory minimums.
Mm-hmm.
Black people receive sentences that are almost 10% longer than comparable whites arrested for the exact same crime.
We saw that situation with the rape case, the Stanford rape case.
Right.
You know, that was a clear-cut, situation where these two people committed the same crime. One got years and one got 6 months, 3 months.
Right. Black people and Hispanics make up 30% of the general population, but we make up more than half of the people incarcerated.
Again, you have to ask why. Like, why is there this system out here that wants to hold us back, wants to hold us down, wants to contain, detain, restrain us? I don't get it. Especially when you don't even get the opportunity or take the opportunity to actually sit down and have a conversation, get to know people. Why can't we be viewed as just humans? That's my thing. Because I'm not out here doing anything that other people aren't doing. Why am I targeted? Why am I watched?
Here's my question. Okay, so to defend the cops who shot Philando Castile, his defense is, I stopped them because he looked like a robbery suspect, an armed robbery suspect. Okay, I get that. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Well, with the wide nose. The wide nose is what did it.
But even still, whether he did or didn't.
That's not what he told them. That's the problem.
Well, let's just say that what he said was why he stopped him.
Okay.
If that's the case, you pull him over. He tells you he has a gun. You tell him to show his ID. He goes to reach for his ID. Tense situation. You think he just robbed whatever. You know he's got a gun. You think he's going for his gun. You get scared. One, you are the officer. You are trained on how to deal with this.
I refuse to believe that anymore.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
My second thing is, if you're the trained one, you see a woman in the car as well as a young child in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they weren't in the car. You don't know if this man is going for a gun for sure or not, but you think he might be. Why go for the kill shot? Why not shoot the man in the hand? Why not shoot the man in the arm? Why go for the kill shot?
Now, if anything, that's what I believe they're trained to do. Go for the kill shot. Because we've seen several situations where it turns out that the person that they thought had a gun or they thought had a weapon wasn't armed at all. But they killed him anyway because that's what they do. They go for the kill shot. It's shoot to kill, not shoot to disarm.
And the cops are not supposed to be trained to do that. They are supposed to try to stop the perpetrator and only shoot to kill if absolutely necessary.
It's always absolutely necessary. And the reason why I feel in their mind it's always absolutely necessary is because the situation happens. We go to grand jury and somehow, some way, the grand jury decides, we're not going to, no charges. We're not going to indict for anything because somehow the narrative changed during that proceeding to where they felt that the officer was warranted in killing this person who was unarmed.
Less than 1% of cops involved in shootings are indicted.
That's a problem. But it's a problem. It doesn't surprise me though, because I feel like the system has to change in the way we do indictments. You shouldn't be indicted or grand jury or like the lawyers, anybody involved shouldn't be from that town. It should be a federal thing that, federal comes in and investigates and presents to the grand jury. It just all feels wrong. Because you have people that you work with on a daily basis trying to, I guess, they know what to say. They know what not to say. They know what evidence to put out there because even though they're, presenting to the grand jury against you, they, in their back of their mind, you're their friend. So they really don't want this to happen. Right. You don't deserve this. I know you got 2 kids at home and it could have been me.
Judges are friends. Yes.
That's a problem. But that's why I say the system needs to change. That whole process needs to change, especially when it comes to law enforcement, killing someone.
Well, now, before we get into change, I do want to say a few things, and I'm hoping that every listener that we got out there and anybody who just happens to tune in for this one show, I'm hoping that you take heed to what I'm going to say, because white, black, green, purple, red, it doesn't matter your skin color. The cops are killing people.
Right.
Period.
And,
so,
it didn't even matter to me, like the Philando Castile situation. I never once asked what color the cop was. It was the fact that it was the police officer who we used to believe was trained to, shoot to disarm or even de-escalate, defuse the situation. Most times they're escalating the situation. Right. They're a problem.
So what I want you to do is I want you to get home safe. Now, my issue with Sandra Bland was simply that she would not shut up. I think had she shut up, she would have made it home, and then she could have talked to a lawyer, and she could have got her team together, and they could have fought that through a court. But she would have made it home. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to make it home. So here's just a few suggestions. When a cop pulls you over, or when a cop has their sirens going, put it that way, pull over. Turn off your engine. Stay in your car. Roll your window halfway down. Put your ID and your registration on the dashboard. If you've got a gun, put it in the seat so they see it. Put your hands out the window. Let them know, hey, I have a gun, but I am not a threat to you. Do what it takes to show that you're not a threat, to not get that cop to escalate. Be courteous. Be respectful. You may not feel like they deserve your respect, and maybe they don't. Just be respectful so you make it home. If the officer asks you to get out of the car, you are legally bound to get out of the car. Don't talk back. Don't say nothing. Just get out of the car. If an officer says they need to pat you down, they have the legal right to pat you down. The one thing they can't do is they cannot search your cell phone without a warrant. It is your choice whether or not you want to consent to that. Personally, I wouldn't. But you want to always, always, always assume that officer is on high alert. Period. An officer cannot ask you for your ID unless there is reasonable suspicion that you were involved in a crime. So if you're in a car and you're speeding, that's a crime. They have the right to ask you for your ID. If you're just walking down the street, they don't have the right to ask you for your ID. If you are sitting and all of a sudden there's a bomb threat or a terrorist threat, they do have the right to ask you. So know your rights and know when. If you are not going to provide your ID, just know it may escalate the situation and you may go to jail. And that if you're willing to go to jail, fight it the right way. That's all I'm saying. If you want to say no and go on and go to jail and then get a lawyer to fight for you, that's good. Don't escalate the situation. You are not required by law to take any type of sobriety test, any type of test whatsoever when they just stop you. And you cannot be punished for refusing. But again, if that officer has any reason or any suspicion to take you to jail, he can. It's that officer's reason or suspicion. That is the law. You are not required to answer any questions. And I suggest when it comes to questioning, you invoke your right to remain silent or your Fifth Amendment guarantee against self-incrimination. But if you are going to invoke those rights, you need to say it. You have to say it. You can always ask the officer, excuse me, officer, are you detaining me or am I free to go? The officer has to let you know, yes, we're going to detain you, or no, you can go. But throughout all of it, be calm and be respectful. Because if I come and knock on your window and say, hey, roll down your window, give me your license and your registration, and the first thing you say is, what I do? Is it not your right to ask? It is your right to ask, but
why should that escalate the situation?
It is your right to ask. Mm-hmm. But remember, just like your mom used to tell you when you were little, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Know how you say it. You can say, sure, let me give you my ID. Can you tell me what I did? I don't even care if you say yes, sir, no, sir. But what did I do? Mm-hmm. And I've done that. Here's my ID. What I do. You have the right to ask. Just know that your tone, your posture, the way you say things can escalate a situation. If you ask, what the hell I do? That's going to escalate the situation. Mm-hmm. That's going to piss off a cop. And a lot of times, to be truthfully honest,
So it sounds like it's become our job to de-escalate the situation versus theirs.
I want you to get home.
I understand.
You know what? It has. Unfortunately, it has.
And to
I
me,
want
that's
you
part
to
of the
get
problem.
home. It is part of the
Yeah.
problem. And I'm going to address fixing the problem,
Mm-hmm.
but I want you to get home. This is about getting home.
I hear you.
This is about going home so you can see your mom, your dad, your kids. It's too many black mothers out there that are scared to death of their children not coming home. It's too many parents of black kids scared their children are not going to walk through that door. You know, Steve Harvey tells his kids, don't wear hoodies. You cannot wear a hoodie. You cannot wear it. No. And his kids are grown. But in his mind, it doesn't matter what I have the right to do. I want you to come home. That's what I'm saying right now. Let's focus on coming home. Once you get home, then let's put every effort to making change in the system. The Jewish community went through concentration camps. They were an oppressed people. Heck, the government at one point tried to kill them all.
Mm-hmm.
After they left the concentration camps and they were freed again, did they march and protest? Have you ever heard of a Jewish protest? Did they scream and yell, Jewish lives matter? Did they demand government change? You've never heard about the Jewish community doing any of that.
Mm-hmm.
You just looked up one day and everywhere you turned, Jews were in high places. They were in high places in law and government. They've got high positions. I mean, most of them own the entertainment business, period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're lawyers and doctors, and nobody ever even questioned it. When they left those concentration camps and they got home or became free people,
Mm-hmm.
got to America, they invested in their own community. They invested in their own education. That was the very first thing they did. They started Jewish schools. How many of you actually can recall one Jewish person you went to school with?
I wouldn't know.
I cannot remember not going to school with not one Jewish person. Not one. When that question was posed to me, I cannot remember one.
Okay.
They had their own schools. They educated their own. We demand that white folks educate us.
In what way?
We fought for the right to be integrated into schools, into the public school system.
For you think it was just so white people can educate us, or that we can get an education?
So it was so we could get an education,
Okay.
But the education we received was from white people. The education we received at the time was from a white America that wanted to hold black America down. Let's be real. When we integrated into the school system, they didn't want us there.
Right.
Those educators didn't want us there. So textbooks, I mean, we have no part in American history in a white school system. It is now 60 years later.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't have any part in American history. They are actually now trying to rewrite American history and say that we immigrated over here for better jobs.
Interesting.
So we are still in an educational system that does not want to educate us correctly. So we want to fix this problem. We are seeing that protesting has been going on since the 60s. Mm-hmm. It works to a small degree, a very small degree.
Okay.
But it's not changing the problem because we are still in the exact same place we were. And we all know that killing 5 police officers in Dallas didn't change the situation. It only made it worse.
I can agree with that.
So that doesn't work. We can't go off half-cocked and sit up and say violence solves the problem, because it doesn't. But marching and protesting doesn't solve the problem either.
I don't know. I don't want to just leave that out there. I don't think we said violence is going to solve the problem.
No, I don't think we said that. But what I'm saying is we got to understand that, because it's a lot of people who are saying Malcolm X said we need to fight back. We need to fight back. There are people that believe being violent will solve the problem.
Okay.
Like the fool that killed the 5 police officers. He's in his mind, let's kill police officers because police officers are doing this to our people.
Right.
But he did it in the middle of a crowd of people. He killed 5 police officers, but he also shot innocent bystanders. Women were running. Strollers were just flying across the room. They were grabbing their babies and running. His mind may have been thinking about those 5 police officers, but he didn't know anything about those 5 police officers.
Right.
Those 5 police officers could have been 5 police officers that actually supported his cause. But that didn't matter to him. None of that mattered. And there are people out there that believe that and feel that way. That doesn't matter. We need to solve this problem by, if they shooting us, we gonna shoot them.
Right.
And that doesn't fix the issue. Now, here's the thing that I really want us to focus on, because this is where our power lies. This is how we can fix things. Black people are the largest consumers in America. Understand that. The largest. We spend more money than any other race in this country. Big business does not sustain without us. That's number one. That is a fact. It is in a Nielsen report from 2016. It is a fact. Black buying power is expected to reach $1.2 trillion by the end of this year. The national deficit isn't but 3.1. So that's a third of the national deficit. That's how much money we bring in. And 1.4 trillion by 2020. That will make Black America the 15th largest economy in the world in terms of the gross domestic product. Mm-hmm. That's the size of Mexico. Our power is in our monetary spending. Want to fix the issue? Boycott, protest. I'm not saying don't do that. I am saying do not resort to violence.
You're saying to boycott protesting?
No,
or
boycott and protest.
Okay.
Do not resort to violence.
Right.
But in the process of that, it is time for us to invest in our own education.
Go ahead.
It's time for us to create our own schools. Teach our children who they are, where they're from. We've got Black educators. Mm-hmm. It's charter schools popping up all over. Why can we not create our own charter school communities? Why can we not create our own education and educate our young children? Even if it takes homeschooling and adding in a few extra courses. We need to educate our children on who they are, because that's part of the problem. They grow up thinking that they don't exist. They were nothing. They have contributed nothing to this country.
Right.
When without Black America, this country wouldn't exist.
Exactly.
We need to spend money with Black businesses. Now, I get sometimes that's hard, because Black businesses, some business owners don't care about their business.
It's not, and it's, I understand that point too, but it's not just that Black business owners don't care about their business. Also, a lot of times we as Black people, when we go into a Black owned or Black business, then it's like we seeing people like us. So I want to hook up.
No,
I want the discount.
We don't get the discount. If you support your Black business by paying the price,
right?
Now that means the Black business owner has got to charge an amount that is comparable to what everybody else is charging.
Right, exactly.
Don't think because you're a Black business you can charge 15% more. But as a Black person, you can't go into a Black business and say, hey, man, give me the hookup, or I'll pay you next week. Pay your bill just like you would to that white man.
I do also have to admit that here after, this week alone, I've been hearing and seeing more people yelling support Black businesses. I've been seeing more progress with people supporting Black owned banks, moving their money out of these other institutions and putting them in where it will work for us.
Right.
And so these are, I feel like now it feels like we're taking steps. And
these
I think
are the steps we definitely need to be taking. Definitely. We need to create housing programs. Let's stop trying to depend on HUD. Let's not depend on the federal government for I don't want to say a handout because I think we are deserving of those things. But let's not just depend on those programs. Let's create our own programs.
Right on.
Create more banks. You know, this is something that Oprah and Will Smith and Michael Jordan, y'all got the money.
Yeah.
This is a business, a good business. Invest in this type of business and create more black banks. Now, we can't do it alone. We need our financially established and well-to-dos to get involved with their old communities, with new communities, with their people. But we've got to help each other.
Right.
We need to stop destroying our neighborhoods and start rebuilding them.
Yep.
Right now, the inner city is a very wanted commodity by the white people in this city, in the city of Missouri or Kansas City, Missouri. They want that inner city. It's close to downtown. It's close to where they work. And they are slowly coming in and they are buying up all the houses. Instead of selling that house, reinvest in your community, rebuild your neighborhoods, keep your people there. Instead, what ends up happening is they come in, they buy up a house here or there, and then all of a sudden it's more of them, and then they push you out.
Right.
People who have been in their houses for 30 and 40 years, all of a sudden something's rezoned and the city's saying you got to go. Rebuild your own neighborhoods. Work with politicians. You got to not only work with politicians, become politicians.
Yep, there you go.
Become politicians.
And not just become politicians that's going to get the position, but not put in the work.
You got to put in the work. Do the job. Start becoming a politician for your district, your neighborhood, your district, then your city and your state, and so on and so forth. Put yourselves into good positions so that you can help black people as you grow. And that's the main thing. You cannot forget to help your people.
Right.
You cannot forget to rebuild your community. We need to stop destroying each other and start uplifting each other.
Yes.
Stop talking about this girl and her hair and she got this and she thinks she cute, da-da-da-da-da-da.
At this point, all that is,
bullshit.
Yes. I was going to try to say it a different way.
No, that's the best way to say it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Stop spending your money on Armani and Michael Kors and find a local black fashion designer trying to come up. Because guaranteed, once we start wearing it, they gonna want it.
Right.
We are, as a brand, as a culture, everybody wants to be like us. That's across the world. That's not just in this country. That's across the world. They take our music, they take our look, they take our hair, they take our style, they take everything, and they want to recreate it and do it. Stop giving them your money invested in your black fashion designers. Get involved in STEM. That's for our young children. Get involved in STEM, and that's what does STEM stand for? Science, technology.
It's like engineering, I believe.
And mathematics.
Yeah.
Get involved in it. Math is not boring. It's fun. Science, you want to blow stuff up? That's where you go.
Math can be fun.
Well,
Slow down. It was fun. But math was fun for me. I was talking to some, who was? I don't even remember who. I was talking to somebody, I think it was just yesterday, about math. And how, like, I enjoyed it. It became easy for me. But, I just, for what? Sometimes they overmath you. It's like, it's like I'm not using any of that, but it's still important depending on the job. The
beautiful thing is more black people are starting to get involved in it. More young black youth, put it that way. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing. I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again. We cannot just come into the game and change the rules. You have to play by the rules and put yourself in a position of power in the game. And then once you're in the position of power, you can change the game. So that means we gotta sit up here and we gotta feel a little bit degraded every time we get stopped by a cop, and we gotta put our license on the dashboard, registration on the dashboard. Sit there and say, yes, sir, no, sir, or yes, no. Being polite when we know how we feel. Mm-hmm. We might have to be degraded just a little bit right now. But once we get into the position to change that, then we can change that system. But we cannot change that system by just protesting. It's not going to work just protesting. And we cannot change that system by sitting up and saying, fix this. I don't know how true this was, but I saw a tweet from Ice Cube on something, and it said, Obama, what the fuck you gonna do to stop them from killing us? What the hell you mean? What's he gonna do? What you gonna do? Mm-hmm. We have got to stop looking to everybody else to fix the problem, and we have got to start looking at what we can do to fix the problem.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Once we start implementing those things and we realize the power of our money,
I think that's what it is. I don't think people actually understand that that's how the system is set up. They don't want us to understand how much power we actually have, what we could actually do if we acknowledge and just even a little bit of how much power we actually have or we possess.
And you asked in the beginning, why are they killing us? That's why. They know. They already know. They've seen the numbers. They know the statistics. They know where the money is coming from. They've always known. It is a huge fear for black people to come together, because once black people come together and stop destroying each other, it's a done deal. You know, we talking about how many cops are killing black men. We killing ourselves at 10 times the rate they killing us. Mm-hmm. So we got to stop. We screaming and hollering, there's no black men in the home. And we're blaming, because they shot by the cops. Because they in jail. But it's also because we're killing them. We're killing off our black men. And without our black men, our women go where there's men. That's the only way we can repopulate, is to go where there are men. So they start going outside of their race. And I'm not saying that every black woman that dates a white man, that's why she's doing it. No, she might be in love, period. But when you take away the black male, the black woman does not have a man. And at some point, to repopulate, she has to go somewhere. We got to stop killing our black men. And the government is not just the problem. We're also the problem. We've got to change who we are and how we deal with situations. Just because old dude stepped on your shoe is not not a reason to kill him. It's just not. Just because you're bored,
it's really not even a reason to fight.
Right.
It's shoes. It's material things.
They can be clean.
We got bigger things to think about, to talk about, to be about than you stepping on my shoes.
You bored? Don't grab a gun and just go shooting at houses. If you bored, pick up a book. Heck, write a book.
Right, yeah. Educate yourself.
You know, if you bored, go in the back, get a chemistry experiment and build something, invent something, create something, discover something. But stop doing things that are killing off your community only to sit up and say, well, they killing us. They killing us.
Yes, they are killing us.
But we are killing ourselves as well. You know, I don't want that excuse anymore. I'm tired of every time I turn on the television, there's another piece of African Americans gone crazy. You know, Bill O'Reilly, and I posted this on our Facebook page, so if you're watching, it's there. Bill O'Reilly showed a clip on his show where he sent a reporter in to ask some questions to some people in a Black Lives Matter rally. Mm-hmm. And all the man says is, what are you protesting about? And they start yelling and screaming and cussing and eventually end up chanting to him, get the fuck out of here, get the fuck out of here, get the fuck out of here. They were aggressive and angry. And all I'm thinking is, you cannot let your frustration show so much that your point doesn't make it across. Because guess what? Bill O'Reilly cut everything good out of that piece and posted everything negative in his piece. Right now, the media controls the image. Image is everything. No matter how frustrated you are, no matter how angry you are, in order to get your point across, you cannot yell, you cannot scream, you cannot cuss, you cannot get violent in any way, because that's all they're going to show is us violent. See, this is why black people are getting killed. See, this is why they doing this. See, this is why they don't have no money. See, this is what happens in black neighborhoods. When in actuality, that's not us at all. That was us in the heat of the moment. Unfortunately, we have got to be the ones to control ourselves right now, because they are controlling the spin. And we can't give them any more ammunition.
I can't add anything to that. You know, a part of me is I totally understand where you're coming from because, like you said, the media controls the narrative, but I also understand being frustrated and in the moment. And then you already know once you see that little Fox News logo on his microphone, you know right. What the fuck he's here for and what he's trying to do. I don't care how simple the question is. You just know and it just angers you because you know all the vile things that have come from that network towards our people. So yes, they feel some type of way. And then we're at a protest where we're trying to combat situations like this. I understand being upset in the moment, but like you said, you have to get your point across. You have to show that we're not the people that you portray us as, but when you're trying to say that, you can't be that.
Right. You can't be that. That's the main thing. And if you feel like in the moment you cannot control your tongue,
don't say anything.
Shut up and just keep walking in protest or keep doing whatever it is you're doing.
Because we're not here to. I mean, I wouldn't dare give Fox News an interview. I don't have the time. They don't deserve my voice. I would no, not today, Satan.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do have some interesting news that I want to share with everyone, and then we'll see how this happens here, how this works out. So, when Donald Trump was asked how, he felt about everything that was going on, you know what he said? He said he understands racism against the black people because even the system is rigged against him.
He's black now?
That's what he said. He just said he understands because
the system is rigged against him. He's rigging his own system. He's out there talking and making himself look like the fucking fool that he's... Okay.
And on that note, I just wanted to end with something that would make you just say, oh my God, because that ain't even been a thing. I will end on a interesting note. Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go. People, everybody's playing this game and evidently it's fun and it's getting people out of the house and out of their chairs and exercising. Kids are no longer sitting in front of the TV. People get good positive
they're taking their TV with them, that small phone, but they're actually out the house.
Good positive things.
Yes.
But
some good positive
I just
things.
have one thing to ask of you. Please, 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 please pay attention to what you're doing. And if there's a Pokemon on the highway, don't go on the highway to get the Pokemon and get hit by a car and then want to sue Pokemon Go and Nintendo. It ain't nobody's fault but yours.
Yeah, it was a young girl, right, that did that.
Take responsibility for your actions, people.
You're going to have to be smarter than the game. Like, if somebody just dumb.
Be smarter than the Pokemon. That's all I ask. Be smarter than the Pokemon.
And then, now, we've heard that people are using this game to lure people in, to rob them and all of that stuff. Just be alert. Be aware of your surroundings. Why are you out? I mean, don't be out at night.
And if you see a Pokemon in somebody's yard,
don't go.
How about knocking or at least knock on the door and say, "Can I come back there and get it?"
Even if it's just weird.
That's if it's a neighbor of yours.
If it's somebody that's understandable. But knocking on strangers' doors, asking, "Can you come in their house to catch this Pokemon or go in their backyard?" Like, you might end up getting shot. And it's not that serious.
It's just a game,
because the Pokemon that's showing up in their backyard is going to show up somewhere else later on. So you don't have to get it today. You can try another day. Anyway.
It's just a game, y'all. It's just a game. On that note, I'm going to say good night. Swing by the Facebook page. Check us out. Keep It Moving Podcast. We say a lot between now and the next episode. Yeah. So come join us. That's where you can reach all of us all the time. Have a good one.
Peace.